Just when you thought it was all over with the lawsuits in NASCAR, well, you were wrong. Chris Gabehart, the former competition director of Joe Gibbs Racing, has just been sued by Joe Gibbs Racing. Let's break it down. How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to Talkin NASCAR. I'm your host, Andrew. Got a lot of ground to cover today. Got some news to cover from Atlanta. Got to wrap some stuff up in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series and the Craftsman Truck series. Of course, like you heard in my little intro, we have to talk about the brand new lawsuit between Joe Gibbs Racing and their former competition director, now current Spire Motorsports employee, Chris Gabehart. Silly season is already getting underway with some rumors between Legacy Motor Club and a couple other drivers. Lot to talk about here, but let's go ahead and jump in straight into it by talking about Atlanta, starting with the Craftsman Truck Series. Starting with the Craftsman Truck Series from Atlanta and their race. Already a little bit of breaking news heading into that race. The race would be shortened by 10 laps from 135 laps to 125 laps due to a mandatory stop time at 4:20 p.m. Central, or excuse me, not Central, Eastern time, due to all the weather delays that the Craftsman Truck Series race had over the course of that day. It was just so they could get their O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race started on time and would get as many laps as they could in possibly before more weather would come later that evening. But once again, Kyle Busch would come away with the victory, driving for Spire Motorsports once again. And his teammate of Carson Hocevarn, a fellow Cup Series driver, also finished in second place as well. Back-to-back really good races for Carson Hocevar and Kyle Busch. Really good showing for Spire Motorsports overall as a team. But for the Truck Series regulars that were in the field, the highest finisher was Gio Ruggiero, who finished in third. Ben Rhodes followed behind him in fourth. Corey Heim, who was also in the field, finished in fifth. Chandler Smith, the season opening Daytona winner, finished in sixth and continues to hold on to the points lead after two races. Jake Garcia for Thor Sport, the pole sitter, ended up in seventh. Then you have a couple Cup Series guys of John Hunter Nemechek and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. In eighth and ninth. And then a couple calling Rams inside the top 15 with Justin Haley, Ty Dillon, and Daniel Dye in the top 15 with Brendan Queen and Minnie Tyrell also just outside the top 15 in 16th and 19th. It's very interesting. There was only 18 trucks on the lead lap in this race, but it's not that there's a lot of wrecking. There truly wasn't. There was only one caution for cause in this race. There were a bunch of drivers who had tire issues in this race. Eventually, the field kind of got strung out, single file, and the trucks that did lose the draft or had damage from flat tires earlier in this race, they were pretty easily lapped as it came down towards the end of this race. Big names back here like Stuart Friesen, who actually won stage two, ended up down in 20s, so it was definitely a rough finish for Stuart Friesen, but still got some really solid points overall. Caden Honeycutt and Grant Enfinger were towards the back of the field. Same with Lane Riggs and Ty Majeski. Tanner Gray, after a really strong showing at at Daytona last week. He was also towards the back. And same with Daniel Hemrick. Back-to-back weeks of struggling for that number 19 truck and along with his teammate of Christian Eckes in the number 91 truck. But definitely, there was really solid racing overall throughout this race. A lot of side-by-side battles, especially when it got towards the end of the stages. And in the final moments of this race, towards the final laps, you saw Carson Hocevar and Kyle Busch, two Cup Series guys, working and driving for the same team. They were working together and ended up Kyle Busch getting the victory at Atlanta once again. Back-to-back seasons of Kyle Busch coming to Atlanta in the opening race and picking up a victory. Now moving on over to the O'Reilly Auto Parts series side of things, things got really thrilling towards the finish of this race. Now, like the Craftsman Truck Series, there wasn't a whole lot of wrecking in this race. We did get a lot of big wrecks, two very big wrecks specifically towards the end of this race. One on lap 152, and then on lap 142, there was another big crash as well. Big multi-car crashes in this race. And then there was one crash on lap 5 to pretty much begin the race. It was a pretty big multi-car crash as well. And once again, only 19 cars were on the lead lap to finish this O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race at Atlanta once again. But regardless, it came down once again to the final lap. Austin Hill leading the way with a part-timer in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series and Cup Series regular, Ross Chastain for Jordan Anderson Racing in the number 32 car, a part-time driver in the field, giving Austin Hill a big push. He tried to dive to the inside entering turn three. Austin Hill threw a little bit of a lazy, I would say kind of a bit of a bad block attempt on Ross Chastain. That ended up spinning out Austin Hill, who did a pretty sick drift on the apron to save the car to keep him from going back up into traffic and causing more trouble. But that allowed Hill's former teammate and current driver for Haas factory team in the double zero, Sheldon Creed, to come off of turn four with the lead over Parker Retzloff and Nick Sanchez to pick up his first NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series victory in the series after 15 second place finishes in his NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series career. Sheldon Creed, the former Craftsman Truck Series champion, finally wins his first O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race. What a moment for Sheldon Creed. I mean, it was a really big celebration. Sam Mayer came out to congratulate him, his teammate in the 41 car, who, funny enough, after starting from the pole, coming down pit road to end the race, actually missed the entrance and tried to go through the grass, but since the grass was so wet from all the rain that the area had received, Sam Mayer popped up in the air from his splitter, actually catching a little bit of the dirt. It was caused massive damage to Sam Mayer's car, so that was kind of a funny moment there for Sam Mayer and the Haas factory team. But regardless, Sam Mayer picked up his first NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series victory. Parker Retzloff, I just mentioned, who was right there with Sheldon Creed coming off of turn four. Didn't quite have enough to get the victory. Nick Sanchez as well. They finished in second and third. Corey Day, the rookie, up in fourth. Jesse Love, another RCR driver. RCR, so very good at super speedways. You can see it there with Jesse Love getting a top five finish. Excuse me. And then Ross Chastain in sixth. Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed's teammate, will be in seventh. Raja Caruth, who actually won a stage, finished in eighth. Taylor Gray, Brandon Jones, two Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas in ninth and 10th. Dean Thompson ends up in 11th. Austin Hill, after that really impressive save, ended up in 12th. Patrick Stoller-Poli, another rookie, ended up in 13th. And then Garrett Smithley and Josh Bilicki, two SS Greenlight Racing cars, ended up in 14th and 15th. Some pretty big names were not inside the top 15. William Sawalch and Ruggiero, who both started really well in this race. Sawalch, who had a really good showing last weekend at Daytona, and then Gio Ruggiero, another really good super speedway racer in the Craftsman Truck Series, who got a third place earlier that day in the number 17 truck for Tricon Garage in the Toyota camp, ended up in 24th. Anthony Alfredo, his nightmare season continues for Alpha Prime Racing, ended up in 25th. Very good historically, a very good super speedway racer, ends up at 25th. And then some other names back here like Sammy Smith, another really good super speedway racer, ended up in 30th. And then his teammates of Carson Cavapel and Justin Allgaier ended up in 32nd and 33rd. But Cavapel and Allgaier did earn really good stage points throughout this race in both stage one and stage two. Same with Sammy Smith. So even though they didn't get the finishing result they probably would have wanted, still got some solid points overall throughout this race. And then Harrison Burton, his season, not off to the start. He would like back to back outside the top 30 finishes for Harrison Burton in the number 24 car for Sam Hunt Racing. And just real quick to look at the standings for both the Truck Series and the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series after two races. Both Chandler Smith and Austin Hill are still out in front by a pretty wide margin over the second place driver by over 20 points. So, over the course of this season, though, after this next weekend in St. Petersburg and Coda, we will see the points start to shift more towards who is truly a top driver. Because realistically, Parker Retzloff for Viking Motorsports, I don't expect him to hold on to fifth place in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Ryan Ellis, I don't expect him to be the top 10 going forward. I expect Andres Perez to drop a little bit in the Truck Series rankings, or in the standings, excuse me. I expect Brendan Queen will definitely have a little bit of a fall off as the season goes on. I expect some other guys to continue to rise up through the points, and it will fluctuate over the next couple of weeks. But after the next couple of races, I think we'll truly see who the best trucks and O'Reilly Auto Parts Series drivers are going forward throughout the rest of this season. But there you go. That's your little mini Atlanta review and recap for the Craftsman Truck Series and the NASCAR Rally Auto Parts Series. this is what you can really more so expect for my Truck Series and O'Reilly Auto Parts Series rankings to recaps, excuse me, to be going forward because it's kind of hard and difficult for me to truly keep up with recapping every single race in depth wise. I'll probably do in depth recaps for the Truck Series and the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. A, when I have the time, and two, when it's like a big race, maybe like when it comes to the Coca-Cola 600 weekend, like Memorial Day weekend, I'll probably be doing that. Probably the second Daytona race, probably their season finale at Bristol, I will be doing as well. I'll be covering that, and of course the championship series race as well. Maybe Talladega I'll cover, and maybe some other crown jewel races as well I'll cover for the Craftsman Truck Series and the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series going forward. But there you go, Atlanta recap for the O'Reilly Series and the Craftsman Truck Series. Real quick, before I move on, I just want to apologize if I have like if you're for all the pausing I'm gonna be doing in this because I have to collect myself. I just picked up another cold, so you could probably hear it in my voice too. But yeah, I just picked up another cold. Yeah, I'm gonna have to stop to collect myself a little bit because of all the stuff I got in my head at least, or in my nose at least. So yeah, apologies for that, but we continue on with the episode. Moving on, Richard Childress Racing has announcements for their part-time number 33 car in the Cup Series. Both Austin Hill and Jesse Love will be making starts in that car part-time this season. Jesse Love will be making his debut for this season in the Cup Series with RCR at COTA this coming weekend, and Austin Hill will be behind the wheel of the number 33 car at Phoenix in a couple of weeks as well. We don't have Jesse Love's full schedule yet. We know he's running this weekend at COTA, and then he's also running Spring Talladega, I'm pretty sure at least, or at least one of the Talladega races coming up sooner later or later this year. And then Austin Hill's going to be running at least 5 races. But yeah, we'll see how both Jesse Love and Austin Hill do in their part-time schedules for Richard Childress Racing in the Cup Series. Austin Hill got a top 10 last season at Chicago for RCR in the 33 car. Jesse Love had a pretty solid run at Indianapolis last year in the Cup Series for Beard Motorsports. So we'll see how both of them do later this season. Speaking of Jesse Love, actually, we got our first dose of silly season rumors, and Jesse Love was one of the names involved, the other one being Riley Herbst, and the team is Legacy Motor Club. So, if you aren't aware about this rumor, apparently this rumor was talking about Riley Herbst, Jesse Love, and Legacy Motor Club. A very well known rumor account on Instagram was talking about this, and it was basically saying that both Riley Herbst and Jesse Love could be top candidates for a third Legacy Motor Club car in 2027. We all know that Legacy Motor Club would like to expand. They are planning to expand into next season. They are going to be planning to acquire a third charter from Rickware Racing, I'm assuming, this season after that lawsuit between Legacy Motor Club and Front Room and Rickware Racing was settled and resolved last season. So we're going to see how that transition goes. But it was rumored back even then, during the lawsuit, that Jesse Love was a top candidate. He was a former top prospect in the Toyota system. He actually won an ARCA Menard Series championship with Toyota. And then Riley Herbst, of course, is a current Toyota Series Cup Series driver with 2311 Racing in the number 35 car. But it does sound like that Riley Herbst should be available this season, with Corey Heim set to possibly take over that ride full time next season. Now, those are definitely very solid candidates that Legacy Motor Club is considering to drive that third car. I mean, they both have some level of Cup Series experience. Obviously, Jesse Love a little bit less than Riley Herbst, but overall potential and ceiling wise and overall talent, Jesse Love is definitely a better prospect than Riley Herbst. I mean, we've seen Riley Herbst in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series before. I mean, his ceiling very well might be a two-win driver in O'Reilly, but a serviceable to fine Cup Series driver. Meanwhile, Jesse Love, he can race on pretty much everything, on any type of track, a road course, super speedway, mile and a half oval, short track, and he can win in pretty much every single car and any single track. So Jesse Love has a high ceiling compared to Riley Herbst and has a lot more potential. So Jesse Love is definitely the more favorable candidate that Legacy Motor Club would want to pursue. It's just all a matter of if Jesse Love actually does want to pursue this Toyota partnership with Legacy Motor Club potentially, because he's done very well with Richard Childress Racing so far. this season and in his career in the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and there is a chance that he could have a ride open up at RCR this coming season, in the number 8 car if Kyle Busch does choose to leave in free agency and silly season. So a ride could open up there. It's just a matter of, does Jesse Love want to stay in a comfortable position with RCR and Chevrolet and potentially take over for a future Hall of Famer and be teammates with Austin Dillon in the Cup Series? Or does he want to go back to Toyota into a little less familiar? I mean, it's still going to be a familiar situation, but it's not going to be as familiar as it has been for him over the past couple seasons that he spent with Chevrolet. In my opinion, I would definitely be looking to explore both options very aggressively if I was Jesse Love. I mean, I'd be leaning towards Toyota and Legacy Motor Club. They're a ascending team, and he could definitely be a guy that helps anchor that team going forward. Meanwhile, RCR is kind of in a weird spot overall performance wise. I mean, we've seen Kyle Busch doing everything he can to get the most out of that equipment, and is still not great. And Austin Dillon, I mean, it's pretty much like mid-30s for him consistently over the last couple seasons for Austin Dillon. So I'm not sure if Jesse Love would really want to truly pursue that unless he's truly happy with what he has over there at RCR, which is always an option. And then Legacy Motor Club again, it's a rapidly ascending team. They're building their own notebook. We've seen their performance improve over the last couple of seasons with John Hunter Nemechek and Eric Jones, two very solid Cup Series drivers in my opinion. And he's been good with Toyota in the past. And I'm sure that Toyota would welcome him back to the system if Jesse Love does choose to return. And it's not like that RCR would be lost if they lose Jesse Love to Legacy Motor Club, because they still have Austin Hill. They could easily just say, Austin, you're promoted. You can go full-time Cup Series racing in the 8 car. That's pretty easy to assume that the RCR could do that if they wanted to. Not to mention, they did sign Carson Brown, a young prospect, to a development deal this past offseason, and I imagine he could be Austin Dillon's successor when Carson Brown finally is ready to jump up to the Cup Series eventually at some point. And if Legacy Motor Club does not get Jesse Love and they don't really want to go with Riley Herbst, they still got some really good young guys in the Toyota system. I mean, they got Taylor Gray, who I think could be a dark horse candidate to make a run at a Cup Series ride next season. I think Taylor Gray is a very solid driver. May need a one more year in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series before he's truly ready, but I could see a world where Taylor Gray does get the promotion to drive for Legacy Motor Club next season. Not to mention there's guys like Harrison Burton, who already has NASCAR Cup Series experience with Ford and the Wood brothers for a couple of seasons. He'd probably be like a bridge guy. He maybe isn't a long-term solution, but he is definitely an option. Harrison Burton is. And you got some other guys down in the Truck Series as well. I'm thinking maybe, I don't think Tanner Gray would actually. I don't think Tanner Gray would be quite ready to jump up. Gio Ruggiero, I think, needs a little bit more time. He'd probably get an O'Reilly Auto Parts Series ride first. Brent Cruz is definitely not ready. He's definitely more of a Joe Gibbs Racing prospect. So I could definitely see like Harrison Burton, Taylor Gray, Riley Herbst, Jesse Love, and maybe an outside chance at Corey Heim possibly. But I mean, Corey Heim's probably like a dream scenario if 2311 Racing decides not to put him in a ride. Like at that point, though, it just doesn't seem very likely that Corey Heim would be available for Legacy Motor Club to even pursue. But anyways, there you go. That's the first little bit of NASCAR silly season rumors. Let me know what you think of this rumor down in the comment section below. Who do you think will take the Legacy Motor Club third car in 2027? I know it's early in the year. There's still a lot of time for things to develop, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts on it. I'm being a little bit bold right now, maybe saying that Harrison Burton has an outside chance to maybe get a Cup Series ride next year. We'll see. Let me know down in the comment section below. Real quick, I want to chat about something from the Daytona weekend and specifically in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series, and it has to do with driver approvals once again. We've seen this come up a lot over the last couple of seasons. Last year, it was with Catherine Legg in the Cup Series after she wrecked a bunch of times at Phoenix with Live Fast Motorsports. So there was a lot of criticism about her being approved to drive, even though clearly she was not up to the standard of driving the Cup Series at that point. She did improve over the course of the season, but on oval, she was definitely struggling. It was kind of hard for her to keep the car going straight. She ended up collecting a couple other cars. She collected Daniel Suarez last year, and I know that got people pretty mad as well. And I think a lot of people were mad at her again because in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series, she bought out a ride from Joey Gase Motorsports after she failed to qualify for the Rockingham race. I'm pretty sure with Alpha Prime race or not Alpha Prime Racing with Jordan Anderson Racing. So I think she bought out Joey Gase's seat. I'm pretty sure for that ride for that race, and she ended up having a couple of incidents where she spun out a couple times. So there's definitely been some obviously some chatter about driver approvals going forward. We had Mike Wallace last year trying to race in the Daytona 500 with Garage 66, Carl Long's team. He ended up getting denied for that race. So that got people pretty mad last year. And now this year, once again, it has to do with another female driver. And this time it is Natalie Decker, who, if you remember from Daytona in the NASCAR Rally Auto Parts Series race, she raced her way in driving in the 35 car for Joey Gase's team, ironically, in the 35 car. And she ended up getting involved in a wreck that pretty much was over by the time she got to it. Sam Mayer and the Sam Mayer Brandon Jones caution, where Sam Mayer kind of came back up the track and Natalie Decker just plowed in there extremely hard, and she was kind of wailing about it on the radio. I mean, it probably hurt. It was a hard impact, but people were kind of upset about that. I mean, I've seen a lot of criticism on social media for why didn't she brake? Why was she going full speed through that incident? You know the caution lights are out. Why are you still going full speed? And I agree. That's a pretty boneheaded mood if you're Natalie Decker. I mean, at that point, you should know that the caution lights are out. Why are you still going full speed into that incident? Like, you should know that you gotta slow down. Your spotters are probably telling you, "Hey, back it down, back it down. There's a caution, like, slow it down. There's a wreck in front of you. Just take it easy for a second." But instead, she kinda just had an arc of brakes moment and ended up plowing straight into that incident and was kinda wailing about it on the radio. So, I mean, there's definitely some discussion to be had there on driver approvals, but at the end of the day, I don't know how to feel about it, to be honest, like, this specific incident, I'm not truly sure how to feel about it because I mean, there could have been an issue on the brakes for Natalie Decker there. I don't know. I'm not sure what to make of this, like, discussion. I feel like I have to do a little bit more digging about it, kind of see what everyone else is saying about it, but I feel like I gotta address it because it's something that's been talked about before, and it's coming up once again. And we thought it had kind of been silenced last year when Catherine Legg actually raced into the Chicago street race, being out Corey Heim last year. So in the Cup Series race. So I thought it maybe had died there, but no, I guess not. Natalie Decker has kind of sparked that conversation up again. So I don't know. I don't know what to think of it, but I feel like I gotta mention on here. For anyone in the comments who wants to chime in, let me know down below and I'll see about it. But yeah, I'm a little confused about it. It's definitely something that I can't form a really good opinion about yet. So if you have an opinion, leave it down in the comments below. If you have any information, let me know down in the comment section below. But I feel like that's something to be talking about here. Driver approvals, they've become a hot topic as of late over the last 2 years. So, yeah, and Natalie Decker's not certainly helping that conversation. So, thanks a lot, Natalie. Anyways, either way, that's a little bit of a discussion there that I just kind of wanted to talk about. And now we got to move on to talk about the new format that NASCAR has unveiled for the All Star race this season at Dover Motor Speedway. And yeah, I am not a big fan of it, in my opinion, at least. So, just to break it down here, it's going to be at Dover Motor Speedway first. I mean, it's not going to be a night race. It's going to be a pretty long race, too. It's going to be a 350 lap race. Excuse me about that. Sorry. So, it's, yeah, going to be a 350 lap race with a full field for the majority of it. Yeah, that definitely sounds a little bit weird, but regardless, there will be no open race, so the full field will just be plopped straight in. There will be the pit crew challenge that does set the order for it, which will be kind of like qualifying. So, yeah, that will determine pit selection order, qualifying, race lineup, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, here, let me just break it down like more simply. So it'll be a 350 lap race with the segments being 75 laps and 75 laps. There will be a full field, no all-star open race. So the full field, whoever shows up, so open cars can show up definitely however they want to. The first segment will be 75 laps. After the first segment ends, the top 26 finishers after segment one will be inverted to start stage two. And then the final segment, which is 200 laps, by the way, will feature the 26 drivers. Eligibility includes the 2025-26 Cup Series race winners, former All-Star race winners, active Cup Series champions, and the final spots are filled with the best combined finishes from the first two segments, plus one fan vote winner. And there will be a competition break around lap 225, 75 laps into the third and final segment. There will be no more promoter's caution. I know that was a thing last year with Michael Waltrip last year, but that will no longer be a thing, thank God. But yeah, there you go. Still the $1 million cash prize, and a fan vote winner gets a little bit of cash prize, I'm pretty sure, as well. So yeah, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I'm just gonna be extremely blunt with you guys. I think this was doomed from the beginning. As soon as they said, "Yeah, we're gonna go to Dover for the All-Star race," like, what? It's not gonna be under the lights. It's gonna be during the day. It's a bit of a bigger racetrack. Yeah, I don't get this at all. You're eliminating the All-Star Open, which sucks in my opinion. You should not have a full field out on the racetrack at one time. That just seems so stupid, man. I don't agree with that. And it's going to be a 350 lap race. And then even at the end, after after 150 laps, you're just going to take out the entire field and have only 26 left out there. You're basically removing 12 to, I don't know, 14 cars. Like, that just doesn't make sense in my opinion. Like, if you're gonna eliminate cars, just have an All-Star Open, guys. That was like it's way more traditional. It makes way more sense. And then you're gonna have a 200 lap like final segment. Like, that just doesn't. I don't know. Like, you're not gonna make the guys that are already in this race already run 350 laps. That just it doesn't really make sense. Like, everything that they've done in the past with the All-Star Open having a little bit of a shorter race, like 200 laps. Like, I know they've had it at North Wilkesboro over the last couple years, and in my opinion, those races have actually been pretty good. Like on TV, it looks like. I mean, it's a bit of a smaller field because it has to be. It's a smaller track. You can't have 36 cars out there at one time. It's gonna get really, really crowded, really quick. But even still, I just don't like this. Yeah, too many laps in my opinion for an all-star race, an exhibition race. It just doesn't make sense especially for the guys that are already in the all-star race, like the winners, the cup champions. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, I get you're gonna have the remaining drivers who are winning or trying to race their way in. They're gonna try to get up to the front, and like you're gonna invert the field, but it just doesn't make sense, in my opinion. It's very complex. I know they're trying to say it's revamped, but it's very complex. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and it's kind of just complicated. I don't like it. And in my opinion, they doomed this from the start when they said that they were going to be going to Dover for the All-Star race. Like, that just it's a boneheaded move, in my opinion. Why would you go to Dover, a track that doesn't have lights, hasn't produced good racing in the past, at least with the next gen car? Just why? Why? It doesn't make any sense at all. Like, I'd much rather have them go to Rockingham. Like, have the All-Star Open, see who races into the field, however many cars you want there out on track. Like, 26 feels like a all right number, in my opinion, at least. So, yeah, like, you have drivers racing in, you have the fan vote. I just don't. Yeah, like, they doomed it from the start with going to Dover, dude. They really did. It's not a good track. It's not a favorable position to be in for racing. Like, at North Wilkesboro, which does have lights, a little bit of a smaller track, it allows you to have those qualifying races with the All-Star Open. It just it makes more sense. It's easier to run at North Wilkesboro, and maybe at Rockingham it would be the same thing, a little bit of a smaller track. I think it does. Maybe does it have lights? Maybe it doesn't. So maybe that wouldn't matter. But I mean, still, you'd still have good racing. You'd still have maybe a qualifying race, and that's my big issue. The qualifying race, you're just having all the cars out there at one time. It just makes no sense. That's my big bugaboo with this. And then just too many laps overall. Yeah. So I know I've been ranting a little bit there for a minute, but yeah, I don't like this format at all. I really don't. The full field, I don't like it. The 350 laps, I don't like it. I know some teams are going to be running all 350 laps, but I still don't like it. No All-Star Open qualifying race to see who will race into the main field and the fan vote. Like, not having that kinda sucks as well. This just all is not good. I don't know if I'm actually gonna watch the All-Star race this year because I don't think the racing is gonna be good. Because Dover has not been good racing for the next gen car over the last couple seasons. It hasn't. So, I don't actually think I'm gonna watch the All-Star race this year right now. This format is dog water. The racing is gonna be dog water, and it's not gonna look good on TV. It's not gonna be under the lights like it should be. Yeah, I don't think I'm actually gonna watch the All-Star race. Anyways, let me know down in the comments what you think about this All-Star race, because I know I don't like it, but what do you guys think about it? I don't li what do you think about the format? Are you gonna watch the All-Star race? Because it's an exhibition race. Are you gonna watch it? Let me know. But yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of it. Moving on, we have now got to talk about the new lawsuit that has just been filed. Joe Gibbs Racing is suing its former competition director, Chris Gabehart, for stealing confidential documents, including setup data and payroll information as well, which allegedly was worth over $8 million in damages. Now, for those of you who don't know who Chris Gabehart is, right now he is the current race direct or competition director for Spire Motorsports, and it's not just on their NASCAR side of things. He's director for the late model program of Spire Motorsports as well. Before that, he was again Joe Gibbs Racing's competition director. He had many successful years as crew chief of Denny Hamlin on the number 11 car on top of the pit box. Eventually got moved to competition director, but he did briefly work on Ty Gibbs's pit box to potentially help Ty Gibbs get into the playoffs last season. That ended up not working. Now he is being sued by Joe Gibbs Racing, his former team, now working for Spire Motorsports over allegedly stealing confidential documents after he moved a lot of those documents to a folder that was named, quote, Spire, end quote. Now, Chris Gabehart did respond to that, saying that he was innocent and he claimed that his own study and like sweep of his personal computer and his work computer as well had no information that was shared to Spire Motorsports. Instead, he cited a quote dysfunctional work environment and accused Joe Gibbs Racing of favoritism towards Ty Gibbs, the grandson of Joe Gibbs, who of course owns Joe Gibbs Racing. And right now, at this current moment, Joe Gibbs Racing is seeking a temporary restraining order and a preliminary injunction to prevent Chris Gabehart from continuing working for Spire right now, which was just added only a couple of days ago. So this will protect Joe Gibbs Racing potentially if Chris Gabehart is indeed sharing information with Spire, but this restraining order would stop Chris Gabehart from working for Spire Motorsports, at least while this lawsuit is going on. But yeah, this is definitely a very interesting lawsuit. We remember back in the offseason when it was announced that Chris Gabehart had actually left Joe Gibbs Racing and was potentially looking to join Spire Motorsports. It wasn't actually confirmed until this week when this lawsuit was filed that Chris Gabehart, yes, was indeed now working for Spire Motorsports as their car director or whatever. I don't remember what exactly role he is as Inspire Motorsports right now. Chris Gabehart and Joe Gibbs Racing did not speak about this very much and until now, when this lawsuit was filed once again. So we didn't really know much then, and we still don't really know a whole lot now. But this information does put a little bit more light on this information that and why Chris Gabehart did leave Joe Gibbs Racing. Chris Gabehart said that this was a dysfunctional work environment. There's favoritism towards Ty Gibbs, so of course Chris Gabehart would want to leave. I mean, he was there for 13 years, but clearly things were not to his liking over there, and it was not a good work environment for him. One thing that also is kind of standing out to me is he claims this suit is a retaliatory move to punish him for leaving the team, which is a little kind of like a slap to the face, a little like a yeah, there you go, Joe Gibbs Racing. You want to lawsuit me? Yeah, this is just a retaliatory move to punish me for leaving after only 13 years of being with you guys. So yeah, that's definitely something that's a little, backhanded towards Joe Gibbs Racing. But, anyways, this is definitely some things that we've heard before. I'm talking about the dysfunctional work environment and the favoritism towards Ty Gibbs. Now, we haven't heard exactly the favoritism part, But we've had discussion and rumors about, is Ty Gibbs being held to the same standard that everyone else at Joe Gibbs Racing is too? Because of course, Ty Gibbs, he's the grandson of Joe Gibbs, the owner, and the performance out of Ty Gibbs hasn't been anything stellar from him these past couple seasons. I know he had a pretty solid rookie season. I know in his second full-time season, he actually did make the playoffs as well in 2024. Last year, though, was a very underwhelming season for Ty Gibbs. He didn't get his first win. He's still searching for that. And so far this season, he's not been entirely great. He's kind of been just hanging around the back. He's kind of been out of the spotlight at Joe Gibbs Racing. But yeah, this is definitely a very interesting story that I've been breaking down to you guys. Don't have a lot more information besides what I just talked to you guys here about this. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to keep you guys updated on this. We're all gonna have to stay tuned. You guys are gonna have to stay tuned to this show and social media about this storyline here. But yeah, very interesting to hear Joe Gibbs Racing suing Chris Gabehart for allegedly stealing trade secrets and other confidential data and maybe potentially assisting Spire Motorsports with this data. It's very, very interesting. And it's a very big story. So I'll keep you guys updated on it. But yeah, there you go. Chris Gabehart sued by Joe Gibbs Racing for allegedly stealing information. And Chris Gabehart, he's saying back to them, yeah, I left that environment because it was a dysfunctional work environment and there's a bit of favoritism towards Ty Gibbs. So we'll keep you guys updated on that, but we'll see where this lawsuit goes from here. I doubt this is the end, though. But now let's go ahead and end this episode on a slightly brighter note, if you will. Now I have my top 10, my NASCAR Cup Series power rankings after Atlanta. Let's see where your favorite driver wound up. I've got a couple of honorable mentions before we get underway with the top 10. First, I got Daniel Suarez. I know it's been super speedway races, and they're not really the best track to go off of, but Daniel Suarez has been pretty good. I mean, he's had very solid finishes, 2 finishes inside the top 10, I believe, and he's earned some good points. He's right now inside the top 10 in points right now. I think that will eventually even out. I don't know how sustainable this is from Daniel Suarez, but I gotta mention him. He wasn't really even close to my top 10 heading into the season, but he's blown my expectations a little bit out of the water, so we'll see how Daniel Suarez does this weekend at COTA, and if he can make his way inside my top 10. I also got two Joe Gibbs Racing teammates, Denny Hamlin and Chase Briscoe. I know Briscoe had a good showing at Atlanta, but I just need to see a little bit more consistency, though he is very close to getting back inside my top 10. And then Denny Hamlin, I just had to drop him because he's been kind of underwhelming on super speedways, and heading to COTA, a road course, and Hamlin does not really do good on road courses. I just couldn't put him back inside my top 10. After maybe a couple weeks, we'll see Hamlin climb back up inside the top 10 and possibly back up to number 1. But right now, I can't put Hamlin inside my top 10. However, I got Chris Buescher still inside the top 10 starting off this list. I know Chris Buescher hasn't been outstanding, and that's why he's at number 10 this week. He dropped down the order a couple spots, and he's kind of close to being overtaken by Chase Briscoe, but I just love the consistency that Chris Buescher shows. I would like to see him be up front a little bit more, especially heading to a road course where he should do pretty good. I just need to see him up front a little bit more before he climbs back up inside my rankings, but if he can keep putting up these type of numbers, he'll be a fringe top 10 driver and maybe even up in the rankings up to like number 8. We'll see, but I do like Chris Buescher. However, he's on thin ice heading into COTA this weekend, so I got Buescher at number 10. At number 9, I have Kyle Larson. I had to drop him down a couple spots from last week once again, but that being said, though, even though it wasn't a great finish for Larson at Atlanta, he still earned some good stage points. He just made another big headed mistake, kind of coming down to make that block on SVG, kind of reminiscent of Austin Hill's block on Ross Chastain from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race, in my opinion. So I still like Kyle Larson heading to Circuit of the Americas. It's a road course where he should do pretty good on. He's a good road course racer. I'm expecting Larson to do good, and I'm expecting him to climb back up the top 10 over the course of this season. However, I got to knock him down a couple spots because he's had back-to-back pretty rough finishes, but he's earned good points, though, over the course of the 2 weeks. So I got Larson at 9. At number 8, I got Zane Smith. Quietly, Zane Smith, he's had 2 back-to-back top 10s, and he's earned really good points. He's gotten good stage points, he's gotten good finishes, Atlanta really didn't get many stage points, but still got a very solid finish. Daytona got more stage points. He won a stage there and had a good solid finish there as well. So Zane Smith quietly having a good start to the season. However, like Daniel Suarez, I think maybe this performance will even out a little bit. I don't know how sustainable this is, but he's clearly shown to be the best driver over at Farmer Motorsports at this current moment. So I have Zane Smith at 8. At number 7, I have Ryan Blaney. I do have Blaney dropping down a couple spots from last week. Even still, though, he's a good super speed racer. He showed that at Atlanta, led a couple laps, got a solid finish as well, got a solid finish at Daytona as well. So Blaney's good. He's good. I don't know how well he'll do at COTA. Road courses aren't his strong suit. We did see him do a little bit better at road courses last year, but I'm just not sure how Blaney will do. I feel like number 7 is an appropriate spot, though. Once we get to the mile and a half and the more traditional ovals, I think we'll see Blaney truly step it up and rise up the ranks once again. So I got Blaney at 7. At number 6, I have Joey Logano. Fun fact from Atlanta, he actually broke a record held by Richard Petty for the most consecutive races of leading laps at super speedways. I know it's a bit of an odd record, but Joey Logano has led laps in the most super speedway races consistently. So Joey Logano, he knows how to get done on super speedways. Got some good stage points, led a good amount of laps, didn't really necessarily get the finish that he probably wanted, but it was still a good race for Joey Logano. So have Logano moving down a couple spots once again, back down to 6. But I still like Logano going forward, so I have him at number 6. At number 5, I got Carson Hocevar moving up 4 spots this week. I mean, once again, Hocevar was right there at the end of this race. He was close to winning. Got a little aggressive, maybe got in a little over his head, but still, Hocevar, he's got raw speed. I don't know how well he's going to do at Circuit of the Americas. He hasn't been amazing on road courses, but I still like Carson Hocevar. I have him at number 5. He earned good points at Atlanta, got a good finish. He earned good points at Daytona too. Was there at the end of that race. He was leading the way heading into turn 1, but before he got wrecked. And then at this race in Atlanta, got a little too aggressive, kind of wrecked Christopher Bell. So we'll see how Hocevar continues to do over the course of the season. But I got him at number 5. At number 4, I got William Byron at 4 once again. I mean, it wasn't an amazing race for William Byron. I mean, it was kind of a quiet night, and we expected him to do a little bit more overall at Atlanta, being that he's won there a good amount of times, but it's just kind of like a quiet night overall for William Byron. It was still like a solid night overall. I know he didn't have the finish that he wanted. He got wrecked, but he still earned some good stage points in this race. So, I mean, he's doing what you're asking him to. He's getting good points. He's just not getting the finish that he wants. Is the same thing last weekend at Daytona. So, heading to Circuit of the Americas, it's a good track for him. He's a good road course racer. We'll see how he does there. I feel pretty confident at keeping Byron at number 4. At number 3, I have his teammate of Chase Elliott. Elliott finished in 11th at Atlanta. Another solid finish after he came just so close to winning in the Daytona 500. He got good stage points as well. Got 5th in stage 2, got 5th in stage 1 as well. So getting good stage points, getting solid finishes, that's what Chase Elliott is. Smooth, calm, and consistent, except he will get up to the front more, unlike Chris Buescher. So into another road course. Elliott should be good there. He should be good. He should be in contention at a road course. He's a very good road course racer. We'll see how he does at Circuit of the Americas, so I have him at number 3. At number 2, I have Bubba Wallace. He won a stage at stage 2. He finished 2nd in stage 1, and his teammate won the race. He led the most laps at Daytona. Bubba Wallace has been off to a great start in the 2026 season, so I have him at number 2. Maybe a little bit aggressive, maybe a little bit. I know he didn't have the finish that he wanted again. Finished in 8th after being up front the majority of this race, and his teammate once again won the race. So I know it may be a little bit aggressive, but I still like what I've seen from Bubba. Going to another road course, though, I'm maybe going to be expecting a little bit of a fall off here. He's not been good on road courses. Circuit of the Americas has not been nice to him, so we'll see how he does there. But yeah, I've liked what I've seen from Bubba. I think it's a number 2 spot, but I do expect him to drop down the order a little bit as this season goes on. So I have Bubba Wallace at 2. But of course, at number 1, I have Bubba's teammate of Tyler Reddick. I mean, he's won back-to-back races. He battled back from a tire issue late in the race to come back up and win the race. Got some good stage points in this race in both stage 1 and stage 2. That's why he does have a pretty commanding lead over his teammate of Bubba right now by 40 points. So yeah, Reddick right now, clearly, to me, is the number one driver in the NASCAR Cup Series after winning the first two races, but having just two incredible races to start off the season, points-wise, and getting good wins as well. So I have Reddick at number one. Here's a look at my top 10 then. After Atlanta, I have Reddick at 1, 2, I have Bubba Wallace, 3, Chase Elliott, number 4, William Byron, number 5, Carson Hocevar, number 6, Joey Logano, 7, Ryan Blaney, 8, Zane Smith, 9, Kyle Larson, 10, Chris Buescher, with honorable mentions going to Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe, and Daniel Suarez. So there you go. Those are my top 10 after Atlanta. We're getting closer to the more traditional ovals, which we'll probably see the true top 10 drivers in the sport really emerge over the course of the season. So that's coming soon. I promise you, we'll start to see more correct and accurate top 10 power rankings moving forward. So let me know down in the comments where your favorite driver wound up on my top 10. But that will do it for this episode, everyone. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you all for listening. If you did enjoy, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. And if you're listening on other podcast platforms, make sure you are giving a follow to the show so you never miss another upload. And go check out my last episode on Talkin NASCAR. Go check out Talking Sports with Miles and Andrew, the other show I do where we talk about baseball, football, basketball, all the sports that you can think of that are popular at least. So yeah, you can go check that all out. Links will be down in the description below to their YouTube channel, the YouTube channel for this one, the Spotify page for both this show and Talking Sports. So that will be all down there in the description. I will see you very, very soon. We got the Truck Series race at St. Petersburg tomorrow. We have the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race at Circuit of the Americas tomorrow. And then we have, of course, the Cup Series race from COTA on Sunday. So a lot of great stuff coming up. A great weekend of racing coming soon. I'll see you in the next episode, everyone. Take care.